All right, today we are cracking open the black box of social media algorithms. You ever get that feeling that your feed knows you, maybe a little too well? Well, we're going to find out exactly how it decides what you see, and more importantly, why that really matters.
You know the feeling, right? You're just scrolling along and bam, there's a video about something you were literally just thinking about. Or a post that seems perfectly, almost magically designed to make you laugh, or maybe get you really fired up. How does it know? Is this all just some big cosmic coincidence?
Oh, not at all.
Not even close. Think of your feed like a giant claw machine at an arcade. Out of the millions and millions of posts created every single minute, the algorithm is that claw. And it's been programmed to pick out the specific pieces of content it predicts you, and I mean you personally, will react to. It is a very deliberate selection process.
And that's where things get serious, because that deliberate selection process has massive real-world consequences. What pops up on our screens isn't just entertainment. No way. It shapes opinions, it influences elections, and it pretty much helps define our shared reality.
So why does it matter so much? Well, check this out. According to a 2024 report from Pew Research, a majority of adults in the U.S., 53%, now get their news primarily from social media. The algorithm has basically become the main gatekeeper of information for over half the country.
And what happens when that gatekeeper is designed mainly for speed and reaction? You get this. A 2023 MIT study found something pretty staggering. Algorithmically boosted misinformation spreads 6 times faster than factual content. That's not a small difference, folks. That is a huge structural advantage built right into the system for things that just aren't true.
Okay, so to understand how we even got here, we need to get one thing straight. Not all feeds are created equal. There are really 3 fundamental ways, 3 core models, for how information moves around online. So first up on the left, you've got the subscription model. This is like your classic newspaper. You follow specific creators, you see their posts, super simple. In the middle, there's the network model. This is where resharing creates those viral moments. It's not just about who you follow, it's about who they share things from. And men, on the right, you have the pure algorithmic model. Think TikTok's For You page. It honestly doesn't care who you follow, its only job is to predict what you'll want to see next.
Now, most platforms today are a mix of these, but they are all driven by one single, overarching goal: maximizing engagement. So let's pop the hood and see what this engagement engine actually wants from you.
The fuel for this entire engine is something called engagement. Every single time you like a post, you leave a comment, you share something, or even just pause on a video for an extra second, you're sending a signal. You're basically training the machine, telling it, yep, give me more of this, please. It's this constant feedback loop that powers the whole shebang.
You know, for all its complexity, this whole machine is really just trying to answer one surprisingly simple question. Princeton professor Arvind Narayanan puts it perfectly. How did users similar to this user engage with posts similar to this post? That's it. It's just a gigantic pattern-matching system built on your behavior and the behavior of millions of other people who are kind of like you.
Okay, so with that in mind, let's try a little puzzle. Here are 2 tweets. The one on the right has way more likes and retweets. It seems way more popular, right? But is it actually more viral?
Think about it. What does virality really mean to an algorithm? Is it just about hitting these huge numbers, or is there something else going on, something deeper?
And the answer is all about the shape of how it spreads. See, the image on the right, that's a broadcast, one huge account talking to its millions of followers. But true virality, the kind these algorithms are built to hunt for, looks like that branching tree on the left. It's content that jumps from person to person to person, spreading deep into the network. That's the signal they're really looking for.
So what happens when you build a whole system designed to find and amplify that kind of viral spread no matter what? Well, you get some unintended consequences. A fascinating case study from Facebook perfectly illustrates what you could call the whack-a-mole problem of trying to control these things. So let's rewind to 2018. Facebook announces a big change with a really positive goal. They want to prioritize what they called meaningful social interactions, or MSI. The idea was to show you more stuff from your friends and family and less from big brands and media outlets. Sounds good, right? But here's the catch. It's all about how they did it. They decided to give a significant reshare a weight that was 30 times higher than a simple like. The logic was, hey, this will boost content shared between friends. But the unintended side effect? It absolutely supercharged the spread of the most outrageous, the most shocking, and often the most false content, because that's the stuff people reshare without even thinking.
So they played whack-a-mole. By 2020, they had smashed that reshare weight all the way down to just 1.5. Problem solved? Nope. Because they kept the weight for comments incredibly high. And what's one of the easiest ways to get a ton of comments? Post something divisive, something that makes people angry. They fixed one problem only to create a brand new incentive for another one.
And look, this isn't just a Facebook thing. Research from the Oxford Internet Institute completely backs this up. They found that posts with highly emotional or sensational language are 28% more likely to be promoted by algorithmic feeds across different platforms. The system has a built-in bias towards outrage. It's just baked into the math.
Okay, I know that sounds pretty bleak, but this is not an unsolvable problem. If engagement at all costs is the issue, what could a better feed, one designed with totally different values, actually look like? Now, the first instinct for a lot of people is just, hey, let's go back to a simple reverse chronological feed. But that's not the silver bullet you might think it is. The whole reason algorithms were invented was to deal with information overload. I mean, way back in 2016, Instagram was already reporting that its users were missing 70% of the posts in their feeds. A chronological feed today would be like trying to drink from a fire hose. The other path is to design smarter, more thoughtful algorithms. And there is some real hope on that front. A 2023 pilot project from the Stanford Cyber Policy Center tested a modified algorithm. Instead of just chasing engagement, they tweaked it to also increase people's exposure to different political viewpoints. And the result? They boosted exposure to diverse content by 17%. And, now this is the really key part, it didn't reduce how much people use the platform. It is absolutely possible to build healthier systems that people still want to use.
So, that leaves us with one last crucial question. The systems we have now are built to optimize for your immediate reaction. But what if you could be the architect? If you could tell the algorithm what you truly value, maybe it's learning something new or finding unexpected things or even having your own beliefs challenged, what would you tell it to optimize for? What would your perfect feed actually look like?